Have you ever felt like you were different? Like you were born into the wrong time? Or that something deep within you is waiting to be awakened? You go through the motions of life, but there's a subtle, persistent whisper inside. There's more. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, this sensation may be part of a powerful myth that's been encoded in the collective human psyche for millennia. The myth of the chosen one. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, proposed a daring idea that myths and symbols are not just old stories, but living patterns within our minds. He believed we inherit archetypes, universal characters and stories, from the collective unconscious. These archetypes shape not only our dreams and personalities, but also the spiritual and existential challenges we face. And among them, the chosen one stands out as a symbol of personal transformation and divine destiny. In this video, we'll explore the depths of Jungian psychology, ancient wisdom, and esoteric teachings to uncover what the chosen one archetype really means, and why it might be shaping your life without you realizing it. By the end, you may not just understand the myth, you may discover you're living it. 1. Carl Jung and the collective unconscious. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the collective unconscious, a realm beneath our personal memories that contains universal patterns or archetypes shared by all humans. Unlike Freud, who focused on the individual's past, Jung looked deeper. He believed our psyche was built on ancestral memories, spiritual symbols, and cosmic blueprints. These aren't just psychological constructs. They're mythological forces that influence how we see the world and ourselves. In this realm lives the archetype of the hero, the sage, the trickster, and yes, the chosen one. These figures exist across cultures, appearing in myths, religions, and even modern movies. They surface in our lives when we face pivotal transitions, internal conflicts, or moments of spiritual awakening. When Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate," he was speaking directly to this invisible, yet active force. The collective unconscious is not something you believe in, it's something you live. Your dreams, synchronicities, and the emotions you can't explain may all be messages from this deeper layer of your being. If you've ever felt that you're being called or watched your life echo a mythological story, you may be tapping into an archetypal narrative. And that brings us to one of the most potent stories in the human mind, the myth of the chosen one. 2. The chosen one archetype, myth or mirror. The archetype of the chosen one is more than just a narrative device. It's a psychological blueprint that has played out in stories for thousands of years. From Moses and Jesus to Neo and Harry Potter, the chosen one starts as an ordinary or rejected individual who feels displaced in the world. They are called by fate or some higher power, often reluctantly, to go on a journey of transformation. This journey involves death and rebirth, metaphorically or literally. The chosen one loses everything: family, identity, even their sanity. But through this collapse, they are reborn with deeper insight and power. Jung would call this the individuation process, the soul's journey toward integration and wholeness. The chosen one story is so powerful because it mirrors our deepest fear and highest potential, that suffering can lead to spiritual awakening. You might not have a magic wand or a prophecy written about you, but that doesn't mean you're not on the same journey. The symptoms of the chosen one archetype include feeling alienated, a burning desire to discover your purpose, and confronting shadows within yourself. It's not a role you choose, it's a destiny that chooses you, and your only real decision is whether to accept the call or ignore it. 3. Initiation, suffering, and inner alchemy. Every chosen one must endure an initiation, sometimes through external trials, but often through inner suffering. This suffering is not punishment, it's purification. Jung referred to this as the shadow confrontation, when we are forced to face the parts of ourselves we've rejected or denied. Depression, anxiety, failure. These are often signals that the ego is cracking, and something deeper is trying to emerge. Alchemy, the ancient mystical science, saw this process symbolically as nigredo, the blackening phase where the self is dissolved in chaos. But from this darkness comes rebirth. The philosopher's stone, the mythical goal of the alchemists, wasn't about turning lead into gold, but transforming the base self into divine consciousness. Jung saw alchemy as a mirror for inner transformation, and the Chosen One myth follows this exact path. You may be going through a painful season right now. Everything may seem to be falling apart, but what if that's not a breakdown, but a breakthrough? Like the caterpillar turning into goo before becoming a butterfly, your current suffering might be an alchemical stage, burning away who you were to make room for who you're meant to become. 4. Esoteric teachings, the divine spark within. The idea of the Chosen One also lives in esoteric traditions, hidden schools of wisdom from Egypt, India, Persia, and early Christianity. These traditions taught that within each person is a divine spark, a piece of the infinite trapped in a world of illusion. The goal of life is not success, but awakening, remembering who you truly are beyond the veil. In Gnostic texts, Jesus is not just a savior, but an awakener, one who tells us that we are the light. The Gospel of Thomas says, "If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you." This is the same teaching found in Hermeticism, where the motto is "as above, so below." The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. You are not a passive being in a meaningless world. You are a reflection of the divine, here to wake up. The Chosen One, then, is not someone better than others. It's someone who accepts the responsibility of remembering that the pain is a teacher, that the world is a mirror, and that the journey home is not outside but inward. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." The divine archetype lives in you, and it's waiting. 5. Signs you're living the archetype. Not everyone will walk the path of the Chosen One, but many will feel its pull. So how can you tell if you're living this archetype? First, there's often a sense of displacement, like you don't belong in your family, culture, or even the era you were born into. This is followed by a desire for truth, meaning, or a deeper connection to something invisible. You may experience recurring dreams, synchronicities, or spiritual awakenings. You may be drawn to ancient wisdom, philosophy, or feel called to create something bigger than yourself. Often there is a crisis, a loss, illness, or psychological collapse that shatters your old identity. This is your personal dark night of the soul. It feels like death because it is. It's the death of who you thought you were. And then something strange happens. A spark returns. You begin to see differently, you begin to heal, and you realize it was all part of the initiation. The signs aren't random. They're messages from the unconscious, or perhaps from the divine itself. The Chosen One doesn't rise by force. They awaken through surrender, and the universe moves through them. 6. becoming the hero in your own myth. If you see yourself in this story, don't ignore it. Embrace it. The world needs awakened individuals now more than ever. Jung believed that the myth of the chosen one wasn't meant to inflate the ego, but to humble it. You are not chosen above others. You are chosen to serve. The real journey begins when you turn your transformation outward, to heal, create, and uplift others. Being the chosen one means carrying your own cross. It's not glamorous, it's sacred. You will be misunderstood. You will be tested, but you will also become something eternal. The world is starving for meaning, for spirit, for light, and maybe, just maybe, that's why you're here. So step into the myth. Answer the call. Let the archetype unfold. You are the alchemist, the seeker, the one who remembers. You are not broken. You are becoming. And your story has only just begun. If this resonated with you, if something inside you stirred or clicked into place, then you may be on the path of individuation, the path of the soul. Subscribe for more deep dives into Jungian psychology, hidden wisdom, myth, and the inner journey of awakening. Leave a comment below. What stage of your myth are you in? Until next time, trust the signs, walk the path, and remember, you are more than you were told.